Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember, when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show!
Here we go. Wholesale Hotline number 119. Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP. Pace Morby, Mr. Sub 2. Jamil Damji, Mr. Astro, Mr. Keegley, Mr. A&E.
Mr. A&E, I like that. That's good.
How about that? He's taking over.
That's good.
He's taking it over. How are you, Pace?
I'm good. I'm signing a deal right now. There's a mobile notary sitting next to me right now. I have no idea what it is I'm signing. Do you know what it is? Is it a refinance? Is it a purchase? I guess I'm purchasing a piece of property.
Nice. Do you know where?
I don't know. Let's find out the address here in a minute.
All right. Let's do it. And you guys were flipping today. You guys were out on shooting the show, right? Where's that property at?
The one we were working on today over at 32nd Street in Indian School.
Great area.
Great area.
Yep.
We're doing a big one. We're actually, the second half of our season is pretty intense.
Right.
Remodels.
Speaking of
I'm
big
not allowed
one
to say
and
too
intense,
much.
look how thick this is, dude. This is
What, are you getting a loan for that?
There's got to be this has got to be a loan stack, right, bro?
That is definitely a loan stack.
Yes, we are. We are getting a loan from myinvestorloan.com, and where's the address for the house? Let's pull this up. Do you know it?
So what are you doing?
You guys can pull the address and see what we're buying here.
Awesome. So you guys opened up a whole wall. I saw.
Ooh, West Palm Beach.
Opened up a wall. We vaulted.
Oh.
We converted a garage into a primary bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
We added a garage. It's insane.
How big of a budget?
Oh, we're probably going to be 175.
170.
170. My address for my property is 707 Hampton Road, West Palm Beach, Florida.
There you go.
I only assume, because it's out of state, that we're going to be doing an Airbnb there. I only do out of state stuff with Airbnbs. So
who got you that deal?
So lately what I've been doing is I've actually been telling people that are kind of newer to the business, hey, let me help you sponsor your loans. So if you have a deal and you can't get a loan because you're new and you're lacking experience, let me partner with you. I'll sponsor the loan and I'll become owner of that property with you, and we'll actually be partners, actually pulling people through the fire through becoming an owner on their deal. So one of my students, because I only do this for my students, one of my students found a deal in West Palm Beach, and we're partnering on it as an Airbnb, it looks like.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And just to clarify, when you do that, you come in with no money. You're just bringing the credentials of credit.
I'm bringing only credentials, and I'm actually bringing credit. I'm bringing my credentials, my P&L, my balance sheet, all of my credit, all that kind of stuff for these types of loans. This is a Burr B&B. So we're buying it cash. We're going to do the renovation, and then we're going to refinance it again and keep it as an Airbnb. So this is a Burr B&B.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing strategies, man. All the creative juices flowing out of Pace into the real estate market. And you know what's interesting is
how long will that take?
That deal?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a good question. What do you think?
What do you think? 6 months?
I would say, because I always talk a lot of crap about Burr because of the time frame, and I always tell people it's not good for newbies to start out with the Burr strategy. You should have somebody who's experienced doing the Burr strategy with you. Otherwise, you're going to get roasted and toasted and smoked. It will take 6 months. What we'll do is we'll renovate it for 2. and then we have to get people in there and get some cash flow coming in, and then we have to refinance it probably 5 months later. So it's a 7-month project to get one house stabilized and refinanced through the Airbnb strategy.
Can I ask, does rising interest rates affect that strategy, seeing as how you can't lock into your mortgage until after you guys renovate? Does that, or when you're doing short-term rentals, does it just become negligible and not really matter?
So Jamil, you and I are very similar in this regard, is that I won't do an Airbnb. I won't buy a property long-term unless it will cash flow as a long-term rental as well, just in case we have an economic downturn, which I think we all are kind of foreseeing on the future, at least some sort of stagnation, right?
Correct.
I don't think we're going to have a massive correction or anything like that. So I'm always looking at, all right, if I have to keep this as a long-term rental, is this an area that I want? Is this an area that's going to get toasted? Or I look at all those things. In January, February, and March, my company with Cody Barton, my business partner, through our wholesale direct-to-seller business, we had to cancel about 12 properties that we planned on just doing a BRRRR strategy with because interest rates toasted us.
Yep.
And this is another reason why I don't love the BRRRR strategy, although we utilize it. I don't love it because it doesn't work in any market. The BRRRR strategy does not work in every market, and it does not work for every single person. Whereas what I love about wholesale is it doesn't matter what's going on with the market. You can wholesale up, down, left, or right. Does not matter what's going on. Wholesalers always dominate in any market. And then one of the reasons why I love creative finance is because I can apply creative finance to fix and flip, to buy and hold, or wholesale as well. And so you take wholesale, which dominates in any market, up, down, left, or right, and then you accompany that with other things that I teach. Oh my gosh, like this upcoming correction or stagnation that we're going to have is really, really good for us. Nearly 700,000 people are in foreclosure right now. It is wholesaler. It's time for wholesalers just pick up the rake and start raking in money right now.
So I was texting with Monique today.
Yep.
You know, she's really active in the retail space,
Yep.
right? We do a lot of wholesale transactions, but she's super active in the retail space. And I texted her and I was like, hey, Monique, how you feeling?
Yeah.
She said, grouchy. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, why? She's like, I got COVID. I'm like, and the market's softening. So
is she feeling it? Did
1000%.
she say she's feeling it, or is she saying that from the news?
Oh, no. She's feeling it. She's feeling it hard. Already the number of like how much her phone rings has decreased substantially for her retail listings. Okay.
Yep.
But what does this mean? Because we've got some people in the comments right now saying, I'm really worried. Guys, I really want you to take what Pace said walking into this comment seriously. Okay. This show is called Wholesale Hotline.
That's right.
Okay. You've got wholesale coach extraordinaire. You've got wholesale coach, disposition coach. You've got creative finance coach. These methodologies that are being taught from what you're learning from us dominate in this market. Don't you dare worry about a market correction when you're in this circle.
That's right.
Okay, if you guys are all out in the world now being retail real estate agents, or if you're going to go try to become a mortgage broker and you're going to focus your business on refinance, yes, I understand you have something to be worried about. Right now is when wholesale, creative finance, especially those really low interest rate subject twos that Pace loves to collect.
Yep.
That's where these strategies dominate. Well, you guys don't understand how good stuff's about to get for wholesale and how good stuff's about to get for subject two.
And I'm telling you, this is, when I was a real estate agent. I've been a real estate agent, licensed since 2004, went through the whole run up. 2008 goes. I'm sitting there like, always chasing trends as a traditional real estate agent. And I was looking for something that can just be like, I know that if I put the work in, no matter what the market is, I'm going to be successful. And I finally found it with wholesaling in 2013. And I am telling you, this is the business. This is the future. This is I'm telling you, you go out there. Pace had a comment. He said, how much? 740,000 properties in pre-foreclosure. Now that sounds like crazy, right? That sounds like an unbelievable amount. There's 148 million properties. That's less than 0.5%. And it's still 740,000 properties. There are so many opportunities. There are way more opportunities than there are agents. There is no competition. It's all collaboration. That's what the point of the show is. It's about squatting up and building a business that is recession proof, because at all times properties are being bought. I don't care if it's a down. I don't care if it's up. All times properties are being bought. It just depends on the price. Understand that. It all depends on the price. There's not a time in American history. You can even go back to Black Friday in 1929, where the stock market crashed and it started the Great Depression. There is still properties being flipped. There are still properties being developed. There are still skyscrapers that were just erupting out of the earth. I mean, it does not stop if you focus on distressed properties. The people that really need to watch themselves are the mortgage brokers and the real estate agents.
1,000%. And I was on a really interesting podcast this morning with the vice president of data and analytics at Bigger Pockets, Data Deli, Dave, incredible guy. And he flat out had the exact same opinion that, guys, wholesale is going to dominate in the next at least 12 months to 24 months. So really, guys, take your lessons now. Start understanding how to learn value, because now more than ever, running your comps and being really intentional about learning how to comp property is going to be most important. You know why?
Because it changes.
Because now we're going to see a slight change in value.
Yep.
You see, I could use a comp from 12 months ago.
Yep.
I could have used a comp from 24 months ago. But today, now seeing where things are kind of going, I can only use comps that are 3 to 6 months old.
Yep.
And when I'm talking to real estate agents and I'm actually do you know how the sentiment has changed? If you're doing agent outreach right now, which is why we're doing the Secret Agent Challenge Part 2 coming up on June 6th. The reason for it, guys, is because I need you guys to hear how different these conversations are going to be with real estate agents now, with the market having softened a little bit. How much control we get to have on those conversations, how much leverage we get to have in those conversations, how much value we get to bring to those conversations. You don't even understand how good it's about to get for us, guys. It's going to be incredible.
How important, and I think this is important as Pace is, well, maybe he's done with it, but
Bro, I'm literally halfway through this. This is the juiciest freaking. Is this normal for you? Is this the biggest you've ever had? Sorry, I've been on a roll all day long. Dude. I'm so sorry, everybody. Did I offend anybody's mom in the audience? Is anybody's mom listening? I'm so sorry. Tell your mom I'm sorry. It was a good joke though.
Cash buyers.
Yeah, boy.
How are they changing? How do we build them? How do we provide incredible value to the cash buyers during this time?
You got to buy deeper now. So here's what's happened, right? We saw a lot of speculative buying.
Yes.
And you saw it.
Yep.
You in your wholesale business, how many buyers did you see buy and close on deals where they're like, market's going up. By the time I rehab this, even though I'm buying it close to ARV right now, by the time I'm done, I'm gonna have gained $70,000-$80,000 in appreciation. Yep. I'm gonna be fine.
Yep.
No, you're not anymore, because look, it's not if, guys. The Fed is aggressively raising interest rates, and their plan is not to stop until they force the country into a recession. We've already had a quarter of negative GDP. A second quarter of negative GDP pushes us into a technical recession. We are getting there. We are very close. We are very freaking close. But does a recession mean that we're going to have a housing bust? Hell no. Does that mean, however, that buyers actually start to cool down? Yes. Does it mean that we'll have a softening? Yes. Does it mean that creates great buying opportunities? Yes.
Mhm.
Does that mean that your cash buyers are going to start looking for better deals from you? Hell yes.
Mhm.
So what you're going to need to do is start really paying attention to your numbers, start really paying attention to those percentages of ARV that we teach, understanding where you need to be at, what percentage of ARV you need to be at, in what part of the country and for what condition of property. Knowing that will win the day for you
And
over and over again.
you need to know what your buyer's strategy is.
Of course.
You have to have a conversation with them. You have to see how they're pivoting. Is it costing them more to do these flips? Is it costing them more to renovate, to do their burrs? Are they still looking at doing Airbnbs? What is their strategy? You know, the levels to this game is all about recognizing potential with different properties. How are your buyers recognizing potential in this pivoting, changing economy? That's the conversation you have to have, because if you have that, if you arm yourself and already know what people are looking for, you reverse engineer and you go find that. Right?
That's it.
That's it.
Because your buyers are, look, we still have rapid inflation.
Yeah.
And owning property is still safer than having cash in the bank. 1,000,000%.
It's the hedge.
Pace and I are about to close on an extremely expensive building.
I'm closing on this building.
So
I was talking about that today, how proud of you I am that you guys are you're taking over that entire empire over there.
That's it. Well, just the square footage batch about a 45,000 square foot building, but this 4,100 is just good for us. It'll be good for us.
But what's incredible is that you're taking the approach of, look, when I factor in my income and how much money I spend in tax, I know your tax bill.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Guys, Brent Daniels has a tax bill bigger than his biceps. Okay?
Yeah.
So Brent Daniels, and that's without really any, you have a little bit of depreciation, but not nearly enough if you're writing checks like that.
Nope.
I'm in the same boat as you.
Yeah.
Right? And so it doesn't matter to me. Here's how I look at it. I could buy a rental, whether that be a big multifamily building or a small single family rental. Let me break this down for you guys so you can get real granular about where your buyers might be thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I could buy a rental, and if it at least breaks even on my monthly nut to what I'm getting in rent.
Yeah.
Okay? But I'm protecting against 10% inflation.
Mm-hmm.
I am protecting my capital.
Mm-hmm.
I am getting some cash flow.
Yep.
And I might get 3% appreciation if we have a real bumpy road in the next 24 months.
Yep.
I save $600,000 or $800,000 in taxes if I'm depreciating right. And I can create a positive impact on my tax implication.
Yep.
Even if the real estate value went down 20%.
Mm-hmm.
By knowing the fundamentals of wholesale and knowing what percentage of AR, when I'm buying property at 70 cents on the dollar,
Mm-hmm.
I'm already in a better position. When I'm protecting against inflation, I'm already in a better position.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm gaining depreciation and I'm hedging against my tax liability, I'm in a better situation. What does it matter to me if property values go down 3 to 5%?
That's it.
What does it matter? I'm making so much more money buying the asset anyways.
Wholesale, build the fund, build a big, healthy, heavy bank account. First of all, replace your job so you can go full-time in this and focus on building a machine. Focus on building a business that is a servant to you. I broke it down in my live show on Wednesday, getting to the point where you are making $1 million income, right? And then you get taxed. If you had no other write-offs, you got 37% federal tax, boom, right? In a lot of areas, especially California, you can tack on another 15, but we'll average it out at 10. You're at 47% tax rate, right? So you make $1 million, you take home about $644,000. I've got it here actually making $1.2 million, $644,000. If you ball out at 30 grand a month, right? That's having a $12,000 mortgage on a $2 million house. You're balling out. The other 20 grand, you're just doing whatever. You're having fun. You're flying places, your vacation. Kids go to the best schools. You're buying the best cars. You're doing the best thing. That's still under 400 grand a year. You've got another 300,000, 250,000 to invest in $1 million property. That's how you build wealth.
That's it.
That's how you build wealth.
That's it.
And during this time right now, woo, this is our time. This is our time.
It is our time. And Pace, this is your quote, and I'm going to say it because I'm reading it in the chat. Actually, you read it because this quote is more poignant now than it's ever been. And you know what it is?
Right here, Jeff. Equity comes, equity goes, but the cash always flows.
That's it.
Put that on my tombstone.
No, I'm going to put buyers are liars, sellers are worse, and so is
Damn,
your
that's
mom.
a no. I would probably say buyers are liars, sellers are worse is probably my best phrase I've ever come up with. It's
But wait. And so
true.
is your mom.
And so is your mom. Yeah, tell your mom I'm sorry is a really, it's top 10.
Tell your mom I'm sorry. Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. What's funny is I had to break set today to sign at a FedEx office and sign for a deal. And then I run here, and then there's somebody text me as I'm running down the studio. That's why I was almost late. And she says, "Hey, Pace, I'm at your front door." I'm like, "What? For what?" And so, Brent, you just said something really powerful. You turn your business into a machine that works for you.
Yep.
Right. I'm at a point where I don't even know what deals I'm signing. My team is just all my team needs me for is my signature.
Yep.
Literally. That's it. And that's even, I think at some point soon, I'm probably going to get to a point where I will not even be involved in the signature side. I'll give power of attorney to my operations manager. And by the way, check this out. I think I'm hiring Robert Kiyosaki's old personal assistant, who is his personal assistant for 15 years this next week.
Damn.
Awesome.
Damn.
It's like getting to a point where you just you build a business that works for you all day long, and you bring in the absolute best of the best people.
Wait, so she was his assistant for 15 years?
She ran his family office where they had all their money.
Yep.
So she ran the whole family office, and then she was the executive assistant for the office, not for him personally.
Got it.
Awesome.
No, I don't think she's a communist, but she's at least 30, given the math that we just got.
Yeah, there you go. She's at least 30. She's at least 30. So a couple of questions that came up in the upper chat. A couple of questions that came up said, I have been hearing a lot of people. So I got to scroll way up.
Yeah.
We've got some really good stuff. Here we go. Here it is. Kathy Portley says, what wholesale and creative finance strategies do you think are the most critical for the changing market and the downturn market? So number one, Brent and Jamil just touched base on this. Wholesale has always been and will always be a strategy that works no matter what the market is doing. And I want you guys to write that down. Whereas if you're a loan officer, I was a loan officer for a couple of years, and I can tell you loan officers are everything in their life is so contingent upon what interest rates are doing that interest rates can actually take you out of your job, literally take you out of your job. Okay. You can go from making 50 grand in a month as a loan officer to the next month making 5 grand or zero. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really tough. Yep. Wholesaling real estate, not fix and flip. Okay. Mark my words, fixing and flipping is not one of those businesses that can get you through tough times. There is a pause. So let's say if we re-emulate what happened in 2007, 2008, 2009, basically all the way down to the bottom of 2010. There were so many people buying deals off market, but guess what? They were not. They were not fix and flippers. They were hedge funds. They were coming up and gobbling up all the houses on the auction. Very, very few fix and flippers were making a full-time living at that point. So as a wholesaler, you're going to be able to continue to wholesale no matter what's going on. The only thing you're pivoting is who's my buyer right now, right? And so just in the last couple of years also, right, guys, Jamil, you've seen an influx in hedge fund buyers, whereas 4 years ago, it wasn't the dominating force, right? But it still remains true. Wholesale and off-market real estate will always be an opportunity, which is very, very powerful. So Kathy, wholesaling real estate and finding potential is number one. That's one strategy. Creative finance. What are creative finance strategies? So there's 26 creative finance strategies. I don't want to burden you with giving you all of them, but I would say the top 3, maybe 4. I'll give you the top 4 creative finance strategies. Number one, that you need to learn in the next 3 years, subject to. taking over people's mortgages that are in foreclosure will be one of the most powerful strategies ever, subject to, okay? Or wholesaling a subject to deal. We wholesaled 2 subject to deals this month. I never wholesale subject to deals. I just have so many people like, oh my gosh, I need to get tax benefits. I need to buy rentals, but I'm now priced out of the market. What do you have? And they paid such a premium to us on an assignment fee that I'm like, sure, I'll let this one go, right? So subject to, number 1. Number 2, seller finance. Right now, I'm negotiating a 300 unit multifamily in Las Vegas, Nevada, $60 million, $0 down, and the seller is willing to give us 50-year mortgage on a $60 million asset.
Yo, dog, can I get some? Can you let me hold some of that depreciation, bro?
I'm not, bro. I'm not. I already told you I'm not doing that deal without you.
I want to hold some of that depreciation, bro.
So that deal.
Yeah, what are we doing here? Guess it's just your guys' deal, huh? I can't get a slice of that.
No,
Hey, what are we
come on,
doing
bro.
here?
Can we let Brent hold a little bit of some of that?
As long as your slice is not as big as your arms, you got a slice.
That's it. Just a little bit.
Okay, so you're going to get a lot of sellers. I actually have one of our listeners, Carlo. He's one of the Flip Me students.
He's awesome.
And he's great. He sends me a DM last night and he goes, I've got a beach house in California. Seller's overpriced by $200,000. This thing will cash flow like crazy. It is like a party house and it's like 2 years old. Seller has zero pain. All he cares about is winning on his sales price. He just cares about his sales price. And so he says he's willing to give us $0 down on a beach house in Laguna, which is pretty insane. And we have the ability to Airbnb it, which is also insane. Covers the mortgage times 4 times with the cash flow. You're going to get a lot of sellers that in their mind, they're like, ooh, the market's softening. I'm not getting the number I thought I wanted. They're still going to be a little bit aggressive and you're going to be able to work out terms with them. You can both wholesale those deals and keep those deals in your portfolio, depending on where you are at in your phase of your business. Subject to seller finance, you're going to get a lot of lease option opportunities as well. Lease options are going to start popping up all over the place, rent to own type of things. And then I kind of hesitate to say this because fixing and flipping, there will be a point in the next couple of years where fixing and flipping will go on pause for probably 6 to 8 months. Okay. Because fix and flippers, like when COVID hit, me as a fix and flipper, I paused buying for 2 months. I was like, I don't know what's going on. We're not buying anymore. But as a wholesaler, guess what you get to do? You get to continue to wholesale. You just pivot who your buyer is. As a fix and flipper, you really only have one buyer. It's a retail buyer.
That's it. And that's the one who's getting squeezed right now. The retail buyer is the one that's feeling it, right?
Yep.
So I think, everything that you had to say there, Pace, was absolutely necessary. And in addition to that, I feel if we all just really be honest with ourselves of what we're walking into, we can not only be safe, but we can thrive.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Well, and I think it's also important to understand, we talk about owning these properties. We talk about rental properties. This is the conversation that the cash buyers are having, right? So what I'm saying, that this is Wholesale Hotline. We're talking about wholesaling. You got to understand the other side of, there's 2 parts of it. There's the distressed property owner. Then there's the cash buyer.
Right.
Well, you're talking to cash buyers right now, and they're telling you what's going on. And that's the point, right? What are cash buyers shifting to so that they feel more comfortable with these investments? And that's what it is. It's going to be buy and hold. There's always going to be fix and flip.
Right.
There's always going to be properties that you can fix up for 300. It's going to sell for 350,000 that you get for 150,000 because it's a junkyard, right? It's a hoarder house. It's just been vacant and beat up. And there's always going to be those opportunities. I've seen it in every single market for almost the last 20 years. There's always those incredible deals out there. But the other ones are the properties that you're going to really make your bread and butter on in this next little bit here as interest rates start going up and people want to put cash out of the market and into real estate to protect it. And then what do? They sell it in a few years.
Pace, do you think there's still going to be an opportunity to fix and flip? I know you said pause, but this is great. I remember coming in when the market had just fallen, right? And I was buying 2009, 2010, I was actively buying, and I was actually selling to fix and flippers.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that they had ran away yet. They were actually there, but they were the way that they were looking at it is they were buying houses and putting just as much as the purchase price into the remodel of that house because property value had fallen so much, right? Pace, do you think, and Brent, do you think that fixing and flipping will just pause for like 6 months? Do you think people will still fix and flip on the way down? Will they fix and flip at the bottom? How do you see this? How do you see this going? And should our audience start pivoting who their buyer is from rehabbers to only buy and holders?
That's a great question. So I was a contractor through the last downturn, right? So I worked for people who were flipping, and that's basically the data I had, where the people I was working on or with is who I based my entire business on, right? I had employees and cash flow and all that kind of stuff based on other people's decisions of whether they were going to flip or not. And so it looked to me like the people who had been flipping for less than a year or 2 years, that are kind of newer, they completely stopped, right? The ones that continued to fix and flip through the market had been in the business for a couple of years, and they just bought a little bit deeper, and they hedged a little bit better, and they continued to flip successfully.
Yep. I also think that small towns will get hit first.
For sure.
It'll all come into the big city. So if your bread and butter is selling fix and flip in small markets, start going into bigger markets. Start playing that a little bit.
But we knew this. I mean, you guys who have been playing in the smaller markets, you've been feeling it anyways, right? It's not that you've had a plethora of buyers out there. There's like John and Frank. You know what I mean? There's a couple of guys.
Yeah.
There's a handful of guys that fix and flip in those small little rural towns, and they're going to take a break for a minute.
They're definitely named John.
In fact, I bet you if you did a data analysis and you spent some money, you could probably find out that 80% of all buyers in rural areas are named John or Frank.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, for real.
Great.
Maybe Marv. Throw
and
Marv in there.
With your guys' permission, I would love to just crack this thing open. I think that we've warmed it up enough to where there's going to be a lot of questions coming up, and I'd really love. Sometimes we go off and we're just spiraling into crazy town. Let's get as many questions as we can answered, and really make this like something that we can sink our teeth into. So first one's for Jamil from De Niro, which is awesome.
De Niro.
Yep.
De Niro said, Jamil, I'm having a hard time understanding this no inspection and $5,000 non-refundable earnest deposit. Why would any buyer agree to that without inspecting the property first? How do you go about it? Great question, De Niro. Here's how it works. When you are selling a property to a wholesale buyer, they play by a different set of rules. We're not playing by the same set of rules as your retail buyer that's going to have a lengthy, 10 or 21-day inspection. A wholesale buyer understands that they're having to, A, buy this property for cash or hard money, B, that they're going to need to conduct all their inspections prior to entering into the contract. So it's not that we don't allow inspections, it's that we don't allow inspection periods on wholesale contracts, meaning all due diligence needs to be conducted prior to that person locking up the deal. Why do we do this? We do this because we want to make sure that the person who is committing to buying that deal is not wasting our time, is not going to tie us up in an inspection period and then cancel. So we're really looking for that serious cash buyer that's ready to put down non-refundable EMD and move forward with the deal. Now you say, why would anybody do that? Well, the reason they would, De Niro, is because that buyer is sophisticated. That buyer is not a joke. That buyer is not somebody who doesn't understand their numbers. That buyer is not somebody who cannot perform, which is why when you are dealing with people who put up non-refundable EMD, you can feel confident that there's a high likelihood they're going to close on your deal. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Real simply, the reason why they would do it is because if they don't, someone else will.
Absolutely.
That's the real that is the real reason.
Absolutely.
If it was just one and you got to take your time and you got to go in and you could do all your inspections, right? The reason that people will put 5,000 non-refundable earnest on an as-is property that they didn't get a full-blown inspection is because somebody else in the market would. Somebody else would take that deal. So it's because of that. And obviously they know what they're doing. Yep.
Yeah, I that's a great question. Here's the thing is, as a wholesaler, I want to work with professionals.
Yep.
Right. I think the people that really worry about that are trying to maybe JV on deals where they're like, well, hold on a minute. Like, I got to go and send this to my buyers, right, before I lock this up. And my buyer might want an inspection period. I get that. That can be really, really challenging. But as a wholesaler myself, I want to work with professionals that go, yep, I'm looking at the photos. I stopped by the property. You guys let me see it. I'm making a decision and I'm putting in my $5,000 earnest money right away, right? I don't want to give people, I've locked it up. I have a conversation going on with the seller right now, and the seller's making decisions based on what I tell them. I don't want to give the person on the back end a big long inspection period. And so would you say it's industry standard, guys, that's the case?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
I love this from Blooming Lucy. Great picture, great hat, great smile. Look at you. Energy. What if ARV is $260K and the seller in pre-foreclosure wants $300K?
Subject to all day long.
I would now. That's a great thing, Pace. Is this a subject to? Is this subject to that you'd want to get into in this market right now?
All day.
Still.
At a $300,000 price point, it depends on how I structure it, right? So let's say that the ARV is 260, seller wants for 300. Most people in this is where negotiating comes down, right? You guys hear my seller calls all the time. Foreclosures are amazing because what happens is foreclosures get close to their ticking time bomb and they go, oh my gosh, I need to let this property go. If somebody wants 300 grand, I go, great. Depends on how we structure it. So let's ask this question. Okay. You're asking a great question. Jamil, would you jump off out of an airplane with no parachute if I gave you $100,000?
No.
Okay. Would you buy $1 million house that's worth $500,000?
I understand where I'm being led here, and it depends.
Yeah. So say no.
Well, I don't know that I would say no. Okay, no.
Okay, no. Typically, people would say no. Jamil's helping me out here. What if I told you that the airplane was landed on the ground on the tarmac and you didn't need a parachute? And I just had that one little detail that the airplane was now on the ground. Would you now jump off out of the airplane for $100 grand?
Well, here's the problem, right? The door of an airplane and the ground is still a good 8 to 10 feet. And my brittle bones, bro, I ain't making that jump.
Well, the thing is, bro, you broke your wrist last time, but nobody paid you $100 grand. So if you break your wrist this time, I'll give you $100 grand. Okay. The difference is, would I buy a house for $1 million that's worth $500,000? Well, that depends. Are you going to give me 1,000 years to pay that off and $100 payment? That's it. Right. Yep. So you can structure that 260. So let's just real quick. Let me do a little whiteboard thing for you guys real quick. You don't mind? So for me, I would look at this deal and go, all right, if it's 260 is the ARV, if they're in foreclosure, I would say they probably owe somewhere around 220 to 240, somewhere in this range, right? Otherwise, they would just sell the property on the retail market. Okay. So I can take over the mortgage, and then there's going to be remaining, let's just say $80,000 of technical equity in that property. I can structure that equity however, right? I could give $10,000 to the seller in cash and say, hey, I'll pay you the other remaining $70,000 in 24 months or 36 months or 60 months or whatever structure I need to do. And I can bundle this all together. So I say, here, I'm going to give you 300 grand is the purchase price, $10,000 down payment. So what is that? That's less than 3% down. Okay.
Right.
I'm going to give you 3% down. And then what I'm going to do is now I owe 290 to you, minus your 220 mortgage that I take over subject to. So that means I've got a $70,000 piece of equity that I can structure in payments and terms, however it deems necessary, whatever that is. There's literally 1,000 different ways to structure that. 70 months at $1. Okay. Seller's probably not going to agree to that. Okay. You just start working backwards. And then what I do is I take this contract, however I get it structured, and then I wholesale it to somebody like me, Pace, and I make a $10,000 fee by wholesaling that thing. You guys don't, the thing that people don't understand about subject to, I think the number one thing is that you can wholesale deals like this all day long. There are buyers that go, oh, dude, all day long, I'll pay you $10,000 assignment fee for something I only have to put 10 grand on because the underlying subject to loan is 3.25% interest. And I'm out there right now buying burr loans or commercial loans at 5.5 or 6.
So essentially, the lesson I feel like I'm learning here, right, is that when Pace sees a deal like this,
yes,
he's looking at it and he's saying, okay, they want $40,000 more than ARV.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But that $40,000 over more than ARV, I'm going to pay way more in interest if I'm buying this house at 5.5% or 6% over 30 years
Right.
than if I just give you that $40 or $50 or $60,000 in a creative manner over some period of time. It's that liability is going to be substantially lower than what I would have spent in interest payments. Is that on an amortization table? Is that essentially what this pencils out to for you, Pace? Is this why it makes so much sense?
Yeah, and I this is one of my other sayings is I got to figure out how to say this more concise, but to me in creative finance, the value of a property is not what Zillow, a broker, a realtor, or anybody tells me. The value of a property is how cheap I can enter into that deal and what I can do with that deal. That's the value of a property. So again, I've bought properties like that one in Ansley Park that you've seen, Jamil. You went to that one in Atlanta. At the time, I bought that thing for $100,000 over retail.
Right.
But I structured it.
You were crazy. I mean, I mean, you didn't offer to let me in on that deal, but if you had, I would have said no.
But that was a deal that at the time ARV was $950,000. I basically paid $1,050,000, but I got it on the right terms. Right. And now that property is worth 1.45. So I made $400,000 in about a 20-month time frame. Now, again, equity comes and that equity can go really quick. Yep. But why did I buy that property? I didn't buy it based on the equity. So I'm not living or dying by the equity. I'm living or dying by the cash flow. And that property brings in $22,000 a month on average. My cost to own that property is about $8,000. I make over $10,000 a month net on that property because I structured it properly. So again, the value of a property is not the purchase price. The value of the property is what I can do with it based on how I structured it.
Can I give you my side of this coin? So Lucy, you determine the value, not the seller. Let me explain that to you. That the market, appraisers, only a ready, willing, and able buyer. Now, if this property is in a good school district and it's a good rental property and it's a good property that you want to keep or you think it's going to be desirable, get creative. Me, I'm moving on. Either they're taking my offer or we're getting close, or I'm going to call the next person, because all we do all day long is talk to people just like that don't want to sell at the price that I want to sell it at. And I'm going to find the person that does. And I'm going to talk to 199 people. And that one that I talk to out of 200 is going to do a deal with me. And my deal size is $51,000. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take it. I'm not going to fit myself in to their situation. Okay. I'm going to have a good conversation with them. I'm going to pre-qualify them. I'm going to understand the condition, the timeline, their motivation, their price. I am going to give them present an offer that makes sense based on all of those four things. If it does not matter, I am moving on. I am a deal finder, not a deal creator. Okay. I don't know what is going on with this person. I don't know what their situation is. I don't know if they want to sell it and keep their mortgage on that property. All I know is that I'm building a wholesaling business. I'm building a business that finds discounted properties, and I match it up with cash buyers, and I sell that contract to those cash buyers, or I close on it and I sell it to those hedge funds, make a ton of money, and then I go out and buy real estate. That's the other side of the coin. It depends on what you want. There's no wrong answer. It just depends on what business you are building.
Amazing. This question here was fantastic. And I think it's an important thing for people to understand. Forcing appreciation. You guys have heard me say the term before, forcing appreciation. What the hell am I talking about? How do you force appreciation?
How do you do it?
You add value. End of story. Think of it this way, okay? When we're wholesaling, what are we doing? We are calling distressed property owners. We're asking for distressed property, right? We're looking for property in condition where it's not turnkey, it's not retail ready. We know that in order to make it retail ready, some investment's going to be required in order to appreciate the property. That's what we're calling forced appreciation. When you are fixing a property, when you are adding value to a property, or when you are repositioning a property with new rent, that's forcing appreciation. Okay, in multifamily, how do you force appreciation? You increase the rents, you reduce the expenses, you do new management, you add laundry, you add AC, you meter sub-meter the electric and the water.
Mhm.
Okay, that's how you force appreciation in multifamily. How do you force appreciation in single family? You renovate, you do additions, you add square footage. Okay, that's how you force appreciation. You add value so that even if you get into a situation where you might lose equity on paper, when you force appreciation, you get back to a place where you haven't lost any money.
That's right.
That's how that works.
Boom. Anybody do their first deal? We haven't rang this bell yet.
Oh, actually, we have somebody. We got a deal to talk about.
Let's talk about it.
So Pace and I did a joint Astro and Sub 2 Zoom call
Yep.
for our students.
Heard about it.
It was incredible, and we asked the student base to get together and really squat up with each other like people do in Wholesale Hotlines chat every week.
Yep.
Pace, we got a great text message today from Kelly that told us about it. You wanna give us the deets?
I don't know the details yet. We are waiting for it to close. It's Chad Glover, actually one of my students, a mastermind student of mine, has done 3 deals with one Astro flipping student in the last 2 weeks.
Awesome.
We'll
Guys,
have to
if
wait.
you're-
We're waiting
if
for
you're
them
not
to close.
squatting up,
We're waiting for them to close. I've got a really good question here. If you guys don't mind me going through it real quick,
please.
Please do.
because this kind of goes in tune with the previous question about subject to, and I'm going to show you guys a deal that Jamari, who is a door knocker and a traditional wholesaler, found a deal that was impossible for a cash transaction, but he still got $10,000 wholesaling it to me and an iPhone, because I didn't want to green bubble text him anymore, so I sent him an iPhone. So real quick, let me show you an address. I just closed on this property on Sub 2 Day. What is Sub 2 Day, by the way, guys?
222222.
2222. Check that out. You guys, what do you think about that address right or that date? That's pretty
Nice.
dope. That's pretty cool, dude.
That
eh?
is cool.
dope.
Yeah.
Okay, so I bought this subject to on. There's no. What's funny, I didn't know this until I went back and looked at it on Zillow. But let's look at this. I bought it for $469, and the value today is $465. Again, the value of a property to me is not my purchase price. The value to me is what I can do with this property. So this is a real deal. Just closed on it a couple months ago. Gorgeous 5-bed, 5-bath house. It actually has a mother-in-law suite around the back of the property. Okay. Here's the situation with the seller. Seller's name is Trevius. And I have the wholesaler call on my YouTube channel, just for you guys can watch how I broke this down. Trevius was $80,000 in arrears. Okay. Plus I paid $10,000 for Jamari. So somebody might ask, how do you pay those arrears off? That doesn't sound like a deal. Like you're putting 80 grand into this property before you even paid Jamari. That's crazy. Well, guys, this is the beautiful thing about understanding real estate, is that what we did is we got the property under contract. So step number 1, you get the contract. Okay. So you'll watch me on my YouTube video, get the contract. Step number 2, what do you guys think I do? Jamil, Brent, what do you think I did on this? Starts with the loan.
You got the loan information, right?
I got the loan mod.
You got a loan mod.
We did a loan modification for her. I have an amazing student named Kiki Shrugs. Okay. Amazing student named Kiki Shrugs that helps out with loan modifications. If anybody wants to learn how to do that, she teaches all of our sub 2 students how to do them and does them for them. So we did a loan mod. So I took care of this lady's arrears after I got the contract, because I've done it in the past where we actually do the loan mod and then try to get the contract. And what do you think happens with the seller after I just saved their ass and got $80,000 put on the back of their loan? They run, right? They're like, oh, great. I just got $80,000 forgiven. It's like, well, it's not forgiven. It's back on the,
I'm
on the back of
staying
the
here.
Right. So instead, now all I've got is I own this property for roughly $5,000 in closing costs, plus Jamari's $10,000. So think about this. I bought a $469,900 property. The interest rate on this is 3.5% that I took over. The loan was 4 years old, so it's already got some loan pay down going, which is great. I took that property over for 15 grand. What is my down payment on a 3.5% deal on 15 grand?
20
What is
grand.
that?
Oh, 15 grand? Or
Yeah, what is that? I don't know mathematically what that is, but it's very low. I think it's probably about 3%. I'd guess about 3% down. Okay. No credit check, no credentials, none of that kind of stuff. So when you really think about doing this kind of stuff, guys, I'm not taking over people's arrears all the time. Depending on the arrears, like we've got one I'm working right now. Somebody brought the deal. Wholesaler actually it's a TTP student. A TTP student brought the deal to me, goes, hey, I don't know how to structure this, but I've got this seller motivated and I've got them working. What do we do? I find out they have $5,000 in arrears. For me, as a buyer, I'm going to get all the way into this deal, assignment fee, catching up the arrears and paying for the closing costs, less than $15,000. Okay. So I look at that deal. I go, is it ready? What's that?
Did you have to put any money into it?
No, it already has a tenant in it.
Awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah. It's a good deal. So that's what we do a lot of times with arrears. If it's really small, I'll just take over the arrears. And guys, I do all three strategies. The only three ways to make money in real estate, I do all three. I wholesale. That's where I go find my deals. I go out and I find distressed property owners with distressed situations. That is what I do. So everything Brent is telling you, that we go out and we find ugly houses with ugly situations, that's what we do. So when people say, well, where are you finding these subject to deals and these seller finance deals and this, that, and the other? Guys, the same thing you guys are doing. We're marketing to sellers and we're gauging motivation. And if we can't get the seller motivated to work a cash transaction, I then pivot to creative. And if a creative deal doesn't work out immediately, you know what I do? We just put it back into long-term follow-up, just like everybody else does. And we start back over every 2 weeks. Hey, now are you interested in a cash offer? Now are you interested in a cash offer? And that goes on. By the way, we had a wholesale hotline, not a student of any of us, followed up with the seller. They just DM'd me a couple of weeks ago. We should have them on, talk about follow-up. 232 follow-ups is what it took for them to get a deal. That includes text messages, emails, phone calls, everything. 232 follow-ups. So I would say the greatest strategy or the greatest tool that you need to utilize in negotiating is a clock. You see it in NBA games. When you're down, what do, man? You play the clock, right? You utilize every strategy you can. And what happens a lot of times is just the person that stays in touch. Now, this deal right here on Branch Forest Way, Jamari was the only person that followed up with her. The only person. And when Jamari went back and asked, I said, how many times did you follow up with this lady? He went back and said, I texted her 13 times over the course of 4 months and he made 10 grand. Okay. I could have paid him 20. I could have paid him 30. I probably would have paid him 30, but I'm a great negotiator. And I'm the one that got the contract, not Jamari. He brought the lead to me. I closed the deal, but you guys can go get full retail deals, help a seller that's in foreclosure and get paid $20,000, $30,000 at a full retail price, because that property will cash flow not only for short-term rental, it will cash flow for a long-term rental. So hopefully
How long did the loan mod take, Pacer?
It took 30 days. You'll know within 2 weeks typically. And then they'll ask you for more information, right? And then you just keep working it. Sometimes loan mods take a little bit longer, because the hardest part of a loan modification, everybody pay attention to this. The hardest part of a loan modification is babysitting the seller, because you have to get information from the seller in order to successfully get the loan mod done.
Is it multiple times, or can you create a package for the seller, get them to sign, or give you all of the things they need to give you early so that you can go do your loan mod and then come back when it's all done?
So Kiki and other people in my mentorship that have perfected the loan modification process have created a package that I would say is 90% what the bank is going to need, and even more than what the bank usually asks for in the very beginning. And then what happens is the bank, based on that individual person, will then ask questions about their specific situation that needs to be asked. And so typically you only need to talk to the seller twice.
Awesome.
This is, one. If you don't mind, I'm going to answer this one really quick. Why don't you pitch creative terms before cash? Because cash is what I use to sometimes buy my creative deals. Okay. I don't want to have to raise private capital for every single time I buy a creative deal. So it's great when you can make $100,000 a month in your wholesale business, and then you've got excess capital to go and buy your creative deals. So it is a beautiful marriage between the two. You have to utilize both. If you're going to do creative deals, you got to have some cash to close escrow. And If you're doing Airbnbs, you got to furnish property. So start with cash. Always, always, always start with cash. Sorry, I wanted to put a button on that. What was it? Where was the other question?
Right here. Oh. Jason, I've come across an issue today where I run my comps and the offer number comes out higher than the asking price because the neighborhood is all new builds. What am I doing wrong?
Oh my God, so much. But here's why, okay? So if everywhere in the neighborhood is new builds, okay, that's your basis. That's where your subdivision right now is trending in price. So what you need to do is really look at what comp you're using to get your ARV that's giving you an offer number that's higher than that. Because what I think the problem is right now is that your high comp, you're using the wrong one. You're using something that's not relevant, because if it's coming out higher than what the new builds are selling for over there, you're plugging in an incorrect value. That end of story.
I think he's saying that like all the new builds are so high that the price that the seller wants is actually below what the comps are saying it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So in that instance, then Casey, you are probably missing something with respect to condition. Okay. A lot of times when I see a seller asking for a lot less than what my MAO should be, it's because the condition of the property is a lot worse than what I'm plugging in for my standard remodel. Somebody knows something.
How far out would you go to find a property that was built in that 15-year window?
I mean, I'm trying never to go farther out than a quarter mile, but if I have to go a half mile, I will. Again, it's always like to like, right? So I'm looking for very similar property types, age of construction, type of build generation. I'm looking for type of property, single story to single stories. I'm making sure that I'm not deviating on too many data points that make my subject property and my comp property different from each other.
Love it. Casey, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Remember, there's only 3 parts to real estate investing: lead generation, conversion of those leads into a signed agreement, and then exit strategy. And then from there, you got 3 options of exit strategy, right? You can assign it, you can hold it, or you can flip it. You don't have to overcomplicate this. And lead generation comes down to 3 things. You can market. They can call you. You can build up a referral network where you are the man in your town, the woman in your town that they're going to refer you business to, and you get deals from referrals. Or you go out there and you prospect, right? You can market, you can get referrals, or you can prospect. Now, if you're really, 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 really smart, as you're starting out, you get prospecting and you get going and you build it up and you build a momentum. And then you start getting really loud about how much fun you're having in this business and how excited you are about this business. And then all of a sudden, the scales start tipping. All of a sudden, you start getting more referrals than you have to prospect for. Then your costs go down, profits go higher, and now you're really, really balling.
I mean, we just had the trainers in here, the last Wholesale Hotline guys, Dylan and Brandon Trainer,
20 years old.
20 years old. They can't even go to the bar. Okay, they can't even get into a nightclub.
Nope.
They did $103,000 in assignments and spent $0 on marketing.
Double that.
They split half of that with me. But I'm just talking about them. $103,000 in assignment fees this month, guys.
From referrals.
All
they
agent deals.
Called agents all day long. One of them talked to 1,400 agents before a deal. And then all of a sudden, boom, 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 boom. I am telling you, it is the law of cause and effect. If you are going out there, you're being proactive, you're building the skills of effectively communicating with the people that own these properties or the people that represent the owners of these properties, you cannot lose. You literally cannot lose. And remember, when you were on the phone, 95% of this business is phone. Right?
Oh my gosh.
95% of this,
even more than that, man. I mean,
is a cell phone.
Yeah.
And remember, your tone of voice is your body language. If you look up any kind of psychology on communicating, you're going to see the body language speaks so strongly, and that's the tone that you have. So you go in there, you're being proactive, you have an incredible, kind, optimistic tone, and then you find these people that actually want to sell their properties, and then from there you pre-qualify them. based on their condition, timeline, motivation, price. You do your lead follow-up so that you're staying in front of them and making sure that you shorten the timeline for them to make a decision. And then boom, you go on that offer presentation, you submit that offer, you get it signed, and then all of a sudden now you are running. Now you've got something tangible. Now you have something of value that you can keep, you can flip, or you can assign. That's the business, Casey. That is the business. 9 steps in there. 9 steps, three main titles, 3 steps underneath each one of those titles. Just keep it simple. Just keep it simple. Ugly houses, big checks. Ugly houses, big checks. Squat up with people that know more than you, that are more successful, and because you are kind, optimistic, and proactive, they want to be around you.
1,000%.
Right?
I mean, look, the beauty of what I think the Trainer Brothers do is they don't overcomplicate it.
No.
They're like, tell me exactly what to do. Tell me exactly what to say. How many times a day I got to say it. And that's what happened. That's how it worked, you know, and now they're bringing in more income than both of their parents are, and they still can't have a cocktail.
Yep.
It's incredible.
Love it.
Guys, we have near 700 people across platforms watching Wholesale Hotline right now. And not enough likes, not enough hearts, not enough sharesies. Do us all a favor, guys. If you're getting value from today's or any other Wholesale Hotline episode, leave us a like, share this on your socials, talk about this. Go and give us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts. It really helps the algorithm.
Yep.
Remember, guys, that we're not paid to do this. We do this out of love for you, out of love for the community, for wanting to squat up, to let all of our communities intermingle with each other, to squat up with each other, to do business with each other. Our ask in return is for you to leave us a review, for you to give us a like, and help share the knowledge. That's it. Squat up.
Squatting up. Did we ring that bell for your for the win?
So we're still waiting on the details from our.
They said they closed.
So we just don't know what the profits were
until we do. JD Biz. So as a first timer, is buying and holding good. The properties I'm looking at is being sold by a real estate agent, and they look to sell more at market price because they are renovating some houses. I love this question. JD Biz, listen to me. For the first 12 months of your real estate career, your real estate journey, you need to find discounted properties. You need to lock them up and sell them to cash buyers. All right. I'm just telling you, listen, I want everybody to own 1,000 doors, to build skyscrapers, to open up banks, to fix and flip and get crazy and do amazing creative things in your market. But I am telling you, if you go 12 months and really build the systems in place for finding these opportunities, it is a skill that will last with you forever, and your business won't constantly do this. The problem I see is everybody repeats the same year over and over and over and over. I made 100 grand this year. Great. I made 100 grand this year. Great. I made 110 grand this year. Great. I made 80 grand this year. It's the same thing over and over because of all the different distractions. I want to taste over here. I want to do this over here. I want to do this, this, and this. Stop it. Stop. Just go around and find all of the most distressed properties in your marketplace, have quality conversations with those property owners, and see if they want to sell their property, and build a whole catalog, a whole database of people that you know are going to sell at some point, and then all of a sudden they start popping. 90 days in on average, they start popping. And then all of a sudden you have one of those $206,000 months and everything's changed. Your brain's broken forever. You start growing your business. You start bringing on people to do that are better at you at the different roles in this business. And now that thing starts working for you.
1,000%.
Are you comping every deal that comes to Keegley?
Hell no, dude.
You were?
I was.
You
once
were?
upon a time.
You were texting all day long.
And
you were fast.
I still comp properties
Right.
every day. I just don't comp them all.
Right.
Right. But I'm very good at it.
You train people.
I train people.
Right.
I train people who now train people.
Right.
Right. So this is it. Any one of my astro flipping students, if they've been in the program longer than a month, can help you.
Yep.
And just like Stephanie's question here, she said, I can't afford a prop stream like, software where it's going to help me comp in a non-disclosure market. Stephanie, let me tell you this, okay? There are 690 people right now that would love to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Most of whom who have batch leads or prop stream or some comping mechanism that can help you in a non-disclosure state.
That's right.
In fact, if you reached out to Paul Nelson, who is an astro flipping student who does business in Tennessee, I promise you he will help you out. So, Stephanie, please don't let that be the reason why you don't take action and don't do this. You've got to squad up with somebody, and that will help you get the tool you need to get the success.
That's it. You can squat up right here. You can go onto Facebook right now and see all the real estate investing groups that are on Facebook that are answering questions and collaborating. You could go to meetup.com and go find all the real estate. You could go to biggerpockets.com, find all those meetups. All you need is somebody that you trust, that has a good energy, that you know is going to help you out. They text you back. I will tell you that, like, you really like set the standard for responding to text as you were like in hustle season, building your business. There wasn't a text that went longer than 3 minutes, seriously, that you would not respond to. You were attached to that phone. You were going. It was come. I mean, there was not a unreceived or unresponded to text. And that's the type of person you want to find. You want to find somebody that has that burning passion, that fire in their belly to build their business, and they want to help you out. And I'm telling you guys, if you start actually responding quickly when people are reaching out to you, you will be unstoppable in your business. 99% of people just let it go. 99% of people are like, I'll get to it later, or they don't check it, or whatever, or who's bugging me now. You have that mentality, you're going to get beat like a drum. You're going to get beat like a drum by somebody else in here. So just respond quickly, communicate quickly, have some energy, put some exclamation points in it, put some emojis in it, put some energy behind the text and the calls that you have, and you are going to be unstoppable. No doubt about it.
I saw a comment in the chat that said, hey, I've had PropStream 7 months and no deals yet. My friend, my brother, my sister, whoever it was that wrote that, well, let me tell you something. Having the software is not going to get you the gold, right? You've got a good tool now, right? You've got a good tool that can help you do the thing, but you've got to take steps. You got to take the action, right? So what are you using PropStream for in addition to running comps? Are you pulling lists? Are you skip tracing? Are you then doing the lead generation? When you are doing the lead generation, how many people are you talking to every single day? You see, the tool is not going to make you do the work. Right. You still have to do the work using the tool. So I hope that makes sense. You know, again, the part for me that I never want to see any of you guys fall into. This is not about collecting problems. This is not about collecting bills. This is not about collecting software. This is not about that. This is about collecting skills, collecting people who can help you, creating relationships. Then you leverage those skills, you leverage those relationships into dollar bills. That's how it works.
That's how it works. There you go. Great question. Let's get into what else we got. RW2 has an axe to grind. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm curious.
I like
who this person
Where's
is.
That privy question. What you've been working privy? I just had a conversation with privy, which wow.
Great question. Is Privy the best software that I've used? It's a fantastic software. I'd say for the purposes of finding deals on the MLS that are undervalued, hands down. I invested in another, you know the name. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to make anybody feel bad, but I had invested in a software that was extremely expensive, in the thousands of dollars per month. Okay, in the thousands of dollars per month, and it still had an ROI.
Yep.
Privy is literally under $100.
Yep.
And my Keegley corporate stores use it to get deals. My franchises use it to get deals. My Astro flipping students use it to get deals. And in fact, guys, for those of you that are struggling with a 9-to-5 job, that are having a hard time because you don't have a lot of time every day, because you can only put in an hour into this business every single day, because you still have to go and have your job and then you got your family. Privy is actually perfect for that scenario, because you can literally run Privy in the morning, see what opportunities came up, write contracts on those opportunities once you've comped them to make sure that they're real. Because again, guys, it's a software. It's not going to be exact, right? It's going to send you 10 opportunities. Maybe 4 of them are going to make sense. You're going to have to comp all 10. So what? Okay. 4 of those make sense. Go throw your 4 offers out and then go to your job at Amazon.
Yep.
Okay. Let those offers get accepted, and hopefully one of them makes in a deal. Miriam on my Astro, she works a full-time job in the Amazon warehouse. She was struggling, dude. She just sent me a message saying, I just got $7,900 wired to me from a deal I got from running Privy, before I go to work. This is how people are getting their parachute.
Yeah.
This is their parachute into entrepreneurship is you got to stack a little bit of money first. Can you?
Is there a tester or
Actually,
no?
Privy's got a 30-day money back guarantee.
That's
so if you didn't like it after 30 days, cancel it. They'll give you your money back. It's incredible.
What is a camel? They said Privy is a camel. Okay. I don't know what that means. Do you know? Okay. I'm going to be an agent. You want to call me and get some deals for me, please?
Yeah.
Isaiah wants to hear it.
So we want to do a little role play.
Little role play, baby.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna not look at you.
Okay. So let's preface what kind of deal this is. Is this a brand new deal on the MLS? Is this a deal that's been sitting on the MLS? Are you an agent that I'm just calling cold?
I'm just an agent that you hear works with investors.
Got it. All right. Let's go back to back.
Yep.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, is this Brent Daniels?
Yes, this is Brent Daniels. Who's
Brent,
this?
Hi, my name is Jamil. I'm a local investor in your area, and you have a reputation, my friend. I've been told by other people that are in my business that you are the go-to real estate agent if I'm looking for a house to fix up. My whole crew right now is ready, willing, and able to do their next project, and I've been struggling. I've been struggling to find that cruddy house, that house that makes you want to throw away your clothes when you walk it. Have you come across a house that fits that description in the last little while that you can send me some information on? I'm ready to buy. I'm coming in with cash. I can close fast, and you can represent me on the deal so you can double in the commission.
What area are you? What areas are you looking at?
Brent, I will.
What city? What town?
Anywhere
What's
in
your
the
bread and butter.
Anywhere in the greater Phoenix area. I don't care that gas is $6 a gallon right now. I will pay. I'm truly looking for just an opportunity where there's distress in the property.
So you're looking like total gut job. You're looking cosmetic. Like, what does your crew do?
The dirtier, the better. In all honesty, those really, really lipstick ones, they're truly not my favorite. If I can get in there like a hoarder house, oh my gosh. If I can get into something that's got a foundation issue, even a fire damage, I mean, literally the gnarlier, the better.
Well, I could pull a list from the MLS and send it to you. What's the best email?
Brent, the reason why I prefer you not do that is I am so aggressively looking for houses on the MLS right now that I'm actually looking at the MLS every hour. So it won't help me if you send me houses on the MLS because I promise you I've seen them.
Got it.
What I'm looking for is something that you have in your back pocket.
Before they hit.
Exactly. Maybe a listing appointment that you took last week. You know, you remember anytime that you try to sell a house like that, it's a nightmare for a realtor because it's not even financeable. These houses can't even get loans on them. So if you've ever had the question, like, what am I going to do with this crappy house? I'm your guy.
Well, you try to get these at like super low because this is just not the market. I mean, I worked with some of these other investors, and every time they send in an offer, it's like super low. It's a total waste of time. You know what I mean? So like, what's your buying strategy?
I love that you asked me that question. I feel that I pay 100% of as is value.
Yep.
Okay. What I mean by that is, look, if a house needs work, if it needs $50,000 in renovation, I can't pay what it would be worth retail. You understand that I at least have to buy it with enough margin in it for me to invest money to fix it up, right?
No, I get it.
So no, I'm not trying to lowball. I'm paying 100% of as is value, which is why I only want you to send me the ugly stuff. I can't buy a beautiful house. I can't buy a fully remodeled house. That's not for me. And I don't want to insult you or lowball people. I am truly looking for a distressed property.
Well, listen, I get calls like this. Okay. Honestly, I get calls like this. And the most important thing to me is speed. Like, I need you to be able to be really solid with the number quickly. Like, if you need to drive by the property, if you need to see the pictures or whatever it is, it needs to be a quick decision because I've got other people that want to buy these things. And I only want to work with people that are going to actually close these deals, or I'm just spinning my wheels.
Brent.
Yeah.
If I was any faster, I would already be at your house right now. In fact, look out your window. Yeah. I'm just kidding. I'm not there. But I promise you that I can get these done. Give me a shot.
Yeah.
Ask around in your office. If there's not something that you have right now, go and ask somebody in your office if there's a house that I could really take a look at. I would get out there right now and give you a cash offer and get that thing done in as fast as title could close it.
You know, one thing that would kind of tip the scales for me is if I send it to you, once you fix it up, would I get the opportunity to list it?
I would absolutely love to have that conversation with you. Right now, we've vetted and we have listing agents that have worked really hard to get those opportunities.
Yep.
That doesn't mean, Brent, that you can't be on that list. So why don't we get something in play? Then I'll bring you into the office. You can meet the rest of my partners and we can talk about bringing you on as a listing agent.
Love it. Love it. What's the best? Text you, call you?
Text me,
Email?
call me, Morse code, carrier pigeon. Just talk to me.
Got it. Sounds good. What was your name again?
My name is Jamil.
James? Oh, Jamil. Oh, okay.
Yes. In
Jamil.
fact, do me a favor.
Yeah.
When we hang up this call, will you save me in your phone as Jamil has the money?
Jamil has the money.
Just
Got it.
save me in your phone.
Do
as
you want the emoji, the like money bag, or do you want me to say it, really spell it out? I think I'm going to do the emoji.
I love it. Do the emoji. Please save me in your phone. And hey, do you mind if I follow up with you in like a week?
No problem.
Wonderful.
Let's do it.
We'll chat soon.
All right. Boom. Right?
That's it.
That's it.
Guys,
Do you think he's ever done that before? You think he's ever done that before? Guys, Jamil did not just wake up one day and have that all down. And I threw the real stuff at him. I threw the listing, right? I threw at other buyers at you. I threw, are you going to really close? Are you really fast? All these things that and listen, you might deal with one of those on a regular conversation. Right. I threw all of them at it.
Every
right?
one of them.
There you go.
Every single one of them.
Jamil has the money.
Guys, if you took just that little bit, that little role play right there and rewinded that back 10 or 15 times, you'd have enough game to call you up an agent and get yourself a house under contract. Know what I'm saying?
That's it. And then it's just conversation. You're not going to get every one, guys. You're not going to get every one. If you call somebody up tomorrow and they're like, oh, I don't work with investors, or, oh, I've got all these people. Great. Next. Like there's 2 million people that have a real estate license. It's, it's talking to them and building those people that are going to actually do business with you. And then you stay in front of them, right? You text them. Have you found anything? What's going on? And then all of a sudden, once you start making some money and closing these deals, you start building out a team and you start doing that. And then you start doing, and then all of a sudden you've got this thing going, right?
That's it.
And then you have a company. I don't know what happened to Pace.
He left to get on a flight to Las Vegas.
Oh, he did.
Yes.
Okay, got it. I didn't know if his internet was down. I don't know.
He had to disappear because he was late for a flight. So guys, everybody, Pace said, I love you, and keep watching.
Yep. Awesome. What's he doing in Vegas?
He's on a panel or something tomorrow.
Yeah. And that's it, guys. So the numbers are this. Listen, 1 out of 200 really ugly properties, you're going to get a deal. 1 out of 300 agents, you're going to get a deal. But the difference is when you get that one agent that's giving you deals, they're going to bring you 10 more in your lifetime. They might bring you 100 more in your lifetime. You get 100 to 200 agents constantly referred. This is exactly what you did.
I mean,
this is exactly how you built it. This is exactly how you built it. And then you had all the dispo and it just went absolutely bananas. So, I mean, guys, this is not rocket science. You could do this in any market. Not only that, everybody on this, all 638 live people right now could create a business, a multi-million-dollar business in their marketplace. You wouldn't even do a dent. 11 million vacant properties that have been vacant over a year based on the 2020 census, 742,000 properties that are behind on payments. Like that doesn't even take into account all the homes that have code violations, all the properties that got inherited today. Right?
Today,
all the properties that are behind in their taxes today, all of these other things, the zombie houses, the ones that are non-owner occupied vacant houses, they're called zombie houses. All of those things, there's so many opportunities out there. Everybody here could have a multi-million-dollar business, no doubt about it. It's just exactly that. It's constantly going and building those skills.
You know what's interesting is that widow that just got a contract 2 weeks ago, knocking on pre-foreclosures. I gave her a list. She went out, got that deal under contract, brought me another one yesterday. Okay. $92,000 under contract, 3-bed, 2-bath townhome here in West Phoenix. ARV on that thing is about $225. Okay. We got it under contract at $92.
Ooh. Where?
West Phoenix.
Get out of here.
Right here.
A house?
A townhouse. Condominium.
Still.
Again, guys, the reason why I bring this up is this lady, she got 4 kids. She's a widow.
Mhm.
Okay, she's not overcomplicating anything. You know what she did? She went and bought herself some cute Air Forces.
Yep.
She makes herself feel real cute.
Oh, I like that.
She ties her shoes up real tight.
Yep.
And then she gets out there and gets the work in.
Yep.
And guess what? At least once a week, she's got a contract close to being in play. Think of that, guys. What would one deal a week do for you?
Bro, every time I see an ugly house, I see $20,000. I'm not joking. It's like a weird mental thing that I have now. And we do 50,000, but it's like every time I see an ugly house, I'm like, that's $20,000 right there. I got to see what's going on with that deal. What is going on over there? There's another 20. There's another one. You go in some neighborhoods, it's $1 million neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
I'm just telling you. 2-player JB, looking good. Love the shades. How would you go about trying to find who owns a property? I skip traced it and asked the neighbors. They said it's been vacant for some years now. Owner passed away 5+ years ago. I would try to get onto like what's the family tree one? Not ancestry.com. There's like a family tree website. Somebody put it in here where you can go and see the relatives of people.
Yeah, gobabydaddy.com.
Is that it? That's it. Yeah, that's it. Gobabydaddy.com.
No, it's not real. Oh man.
But there you go.
That was fun,
so try to find the relatives, right? And then just see where their tax, I know that you've probably already done it, but see where the mailing address is. And then if you really need to, True People Finder. Johnny, there you go.
I mean, True People Finder, Go Baby Daddy. It was pretty close.
It was really
right?
close. That was really close.
I'm just saying, guys, GoDaddy became a pretty big company. Would not Go Baby Daddy be pretty good? Can you get the .com right now?
How much is it?
GoBabyDaddy.com. Let's see how much that costs.
So, yeah, there you go. True People search, look for it, and then try to find the relatives. And then if you need to, go to the the county and go check out the tax records. Go talk to the county treasurer and see where they're sending the tax bill, because it might not be updated. So
I love Joel's question here. This is a great one because you guys do a lot of this, and I actually now have been gaining a lot of fruit, a lot of deals from my students out there working the pre-foreclosures.
Yes.
These pre-foreclosure leads, guys, can come to fruit in as little as 7 to 10 days. I'm talking contract to check.
Yep.
Contract to check.
Yep. Yeah.
So, buy that.
Is it really?
Go buy that right now.
Better buy it.
Buy that right now.
Somebody else is going to buy it and flip it to us for $6.
Yo, get that right now, Bobby. Get that right now, homie.
That's awesome.
GoBabyDaddy.com. I just want to own that for no reason.
So David here he lives in Nigeria. TTP TTP family member, TTP student, closing deals in Houston. How do you make 3 to 5 offers per day when most people say no? Well, remember, you're in control of who your offer, right? You're in control of the value that they give them. Now, what you can do is you can kind of do it kind of a little bit backhanded, right? Well, it looks like your neighbors in similar condition are selling for boom. Did you just make an offer? Yeah, but you didn't really, right? Your neighbors are selling for, well, this is what the neighborhood's selling for. This is in similar condition. This is what it's going for. And just make sure that you're talking to properties that need some love. If obviously they're fixed up or whatever else, tell them to go list it with an agent. And, if you want to send them written offers, you certainly can. It's interesting. And I think it usually works in smaller markets more than bigger markets, but you never know. You could set it automatically to just, you can get it into your DocuSign and just send out offers if you get their emails, or you can get it mailed. But I would just do it verbally, to be honest with you. David, don't mess around with people that don't want to do business with you.
David, also, I want to just say, be very careful about attaching to the statement, most people say no.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a dangerous place to live in.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous place to live in because you want to know why? You're focusing on most people saying no.
Right.
You want to know what I focus on? Some people say yes.
That's it.
That's it, brother.
Yep.
You got to focus on the positive. You got to focus on the people that you can help. You can focus on the people that you can add value to by bringing them a contract, by bringing them liquidity to their situation. Then that is what you will find.
Yeah.
You get what you focus on. That's it.
That's it. That's it. Awesome. You know what? This is interesting because I think this is all over the place, and there's always different answers for all of these things. Ariana, obviously you want to get it as low as you can. That's the first step, but it just depends on what market you're in. That does not work in a market where the properties are under $100,000. It doesn't. It doesn't work.
It's market to market. Your percentage of ARV is definitely market specific and condition specific. And Ariana, that's the reason why for every Astro flipping student, I've given you a US ARV map that tells you what percentage of ARV you need to lock up a house if it's in cosmetic or if it's in full gut condition. Okay, cosmetic or full gut, cosmetic or full gut. If you follow those rules, more often than not, you'll be in a good situation.
Yep.
Again, I'm not telling you it's perfect. This is not an exact science because we really never know until we get into the details.
Yep.
Plus, inflation has done a few things, but at the same time, follow that US ARV map. Brent, what have you been finding right now from rehabbers you've been talking to for dollar per square remodeling costs? I'd like to update everybody on this because I've been doing some surveying and I've gotten some new numbers.
35 to 50.
I'm saying 35 right now to $40 per square foot for cosmetic.
Yep.
And I'm seeing full gut land somewhere between $60 to $75 a square foot for full gut, guys.
Yep.
Keep that in mind, okay?
Yep.
Again, I'm gonna repeat it. For cosmetic remodel, you're at $35 to $40 a square foot. For full gut, you're between $60 to $75 a square foot. That'll help you do some quick back of the napkin math when you're trying to figure out how much a renovation is going to cost.
That's right.
And what's the difference between cosmetic and full gut?
Well, I mean, listen, first of all, with a full gut, you need to get in and you need to do electrical. You need to do the mechanical parts of the business. Of the property. You know, a cosmetic, you're going in and it's more design features, but
Correct.
A full gut is mechanical. A full gut is electrical, plumbing, appliances, roof, pool equipment, AC, boiler, all of those things, right? That's the difference between that and then just going in and doing floors and paint and some appliances and countertops.
Absolutely.
It's the mechanics of the property. Boom.
That's it.
Dude, look at us. We're on fire this back half.
Y'all are crushing it with the questions.
Let me read this because I think that this is really important.
Please.
And we talked about Kiyosaki before, and this is actually Rich Dad. If you guys didn't know, Keith Cunningham is half of Rich Dad. The other half is a dude that was in Hawaii, but the real principles of Rich Dad came from this Keith Cunningham, and this is a fantastic book. It's a little bit tough. I highly recommend you get the book and Audible and listen to the Audible as you're going through it. But I love this. When we take a hard look at the people we want to emulate, we will inevitably find that they all started at the back of the line. Did you start at the back of the line? Yeah, I started in a hole. And then I had to climb out of that hole and then get to the back of the line.
Yes, sir.
They practiced for countless hours, stayed in line, stayed in line. That's what we're talking about. Focus. Followed the advice of a great coach or mentor, overcame numerous obstacles, had some lucky breaks, committed to being a learner, practiced countless more hours, and eventually got to the front of the line. Here's the important point. Their success was not obvious at the beginning of the journey to themselves or anybody else who happened to be watching. It's a fact.
There's so much in that.
There's so much in that.
Right? What do we learn there? We learn that first and foremost, guys, you were never going to be the destination. You were always going to start at the bottom. So get used to working hard. Get used to waiting. Get used to patience. Get used to consistency. Get used to looking over other people's heads. Get used to the work, okay? The standing, the hurt feet. Get used to that stuff. The second thing I think that you got to take from that is you have to detach from this destination that you're we've got an incredible person right now that's saying, I want to be a millionaire so bad. I want to be a millionaire so bad. And I love that you have that ambition in your heart. But my friend, what I can tell you right now is that ambition, that desire, if you do not leave that with action, and if you do not leave that with consistency, and if you don't just let that go for a minute, when you come across your first obstacle, when you don't get to that million fast enough, you want to know what happens? Discouragement. That's why I say, please detach from the result. Chop wood, carry water. Chop wood, carry water.
Stay in line. Stay in line. That's the focus. Could you imagine if you started like a development company in the middle of building your wholesaling business when you were really in your hustle season here?
That's how I went broke the first time.
I know. But what happens when you came the second time?
Focus, baby.
Right?
Focus. I'm laser focused.
On all of the stuff, on exactly what strategy you want. And I'm telling you, if it's your first 12 months in real estate, ugly houses, big checks. Ugly houses, big checks. Get in the middle of people that find the ugly houses, and that will give you a big check for that. That's it. It's just putting in that work and staying focused and doing the boring shit. It is. I mean, that's what it is. Going through that repetition of calling people all the time and getting up and getting that motor. And I would challenge anybody that said, I want to, I want to be a millionaire. How about I'm going to be? How about that?
That's it.
How about the labels? The labels
Bro,
make everything. Whatever
somebody
you
gave
label
us
yourself.
$5.
All right, $4.99.
Hey,
Hey, that's for your URL.
hey,
Go baby daddy.
No, somebody bought it. Hey, whoever bought GoBabyDaddy.com, you suck. God, man.
That is awesome. Guys, we love you. That is our 90 minutes. Thank you for staying with us for so long. Really, 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 we love you. If you didn't get your question answered, Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Brent Daniels YouTube channel. We go for 2 hours on the Ugly Houses Big Checks Show. We're officially naming it Ugly Houses Big Check Show. We go for 2 hours answering your questions. It's going to be absolutely bananas. It's going to be going over, is this a deal or not a deal, right? We're going to be going over and making sure that you feel very confident the conversations that you're having, you're actually getting a deal, and it's not something that you need to cancel. Repost what?
Yep. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Guys, Secret Agent Challenge 2.0.
June 6th.
How to talk to agents in this new changing, pivoting environment. We have new terms, new words, new ways to address. Guys, if you haven't signed up for that challenge, it starts in June. It is free. You will learn a ton. It's going to be my biggest, shiniest, brightest stars in astro flipping and myself all having conversations with agents in this changing environment. You need to be there. The link is right there in the chat. Can't wait to see you.
Love you guys. See you next week. I'll see you Wednesday and Sunday.
Sunday, baby.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say that thing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.